They left me with her, Comatose, mother, but the moment they walked out the door, she opened her eyes. The heavy oak door of the master bedroom clicked shut, and the sound of my husband's car tires crunching down the gravel driveway confirmed I was finally alone. Well, not entirely alone. I turned back to look at the massive, king-sized bed in the center of the dimly lit room. Lying there, completely motionless beneath a mountain of pristine white blankets, was Eleanor Vance, my new husband's mother. For the last 3 years, Eleanor had supposedly been in a deep, vegetative coma following a severe stroke. My husband, Richard, and his sister, Clara, had painted themselves as grieving, saintly children. When Richard and I got married last month, he begged me to move into their isolated family estate to help take care of her. He told me the nurses were too expensive and that he only trusted me to look after his fragile mother. Today, Richard and Clara had left for a mandatory, weekend-long corporate conference city, leaving me solely responsible for Eleanor's care. I approached the bed, holding a warm washcloth to wipe her pale face. She looked so peaceful, almost like a wax statue. Her chest rose and fell in a slow, mechanical rhythm, and the heart monitor beside her beeped in a steady, monotonous tone. "All right, Eleanor," I whispered softly, squeezing out the excess water from the cloth. "It's just you and me for the next 48 hours. I leaned down, gently placing the warm cloth against her forehead. Suddenly, a cold, iron-like grip clamped around my wrist. I gasped, my heart leaping violently into my throat. The washcloth slipped from my fingers, dropping onto the floor. I looked down, paralyzed with sheer terror. The hand squeezing my wrist with unbelievable, desperate strength belonged to Eleanor. Her eyes, which had been closed for 3 long years, were wide open. They weren't glassy or vacant, they were sharp, piercing, and filled with an intense, burning panic. "Don't scream," she rasped, her voice a dry, cracking whisper that sounded like dead leaves scraping across pavement. "Please, child, if they hear you through the security cameras, they will kill us both." My breath hitched. I looked up at the corner of the room, where a tiny green light on the wall-mounted camera blinked steadily. The cameras," I stammered, my voice shaking uncontrollably. "Eleanor, you're awake. This is a miracle. I need to call the ambulance, I need to call Richard." "No," she hissed, her grip tightening even more, pulling me down closer to her face. "Richard did this to me. He and Clara, they didn't want me to alter my will. They drugged me, poison in my tea, a precise dose to mimic a catastrophic stroke. The doctor they hired to check on me, he's in on it. He's been supplying them with paralytics to keep me trapped in my own body. Monsters. The man I had married, the man I thought was a grieving, loving son, was a monster. Why didn't you say anything before?" I whispered, tears of shock running down my cheeks. "Because they never leave me alone," Eleanor whispered frantically, her eyes darting to the door. "They monitor my vitals. For 3 years, I learned how to control my heart rate, how to play the part of a corpse, waiting for a single moment where they would both be gone and leave someone they trusted in the house. You have to listen to me, Clara isn't at a conference. She stayed behind. She's in the guest house at the edge of the woods, watching these camera feeds. I only have a few minutes before my heart rate spike alerts her on her phone." As if on cue, the heart monitor beside the bed began to beep faster, its rhythm accelerating into a frantic alert. What do? I panicked, my mind racing. How do I save you? Underneath the mattress, near the headboard. "Reach in," Eleanor commanded. With trembling hands, I shoved my arm beneath the heavy mattress. My fingers brushed against something hard and metallic. I pulled it out. It was a small, encrypted flash drive, wrapped in a piece of paper covered in scribbled bank account numbers. That contains the proof of their embezzlement, the medical reports, and the video diaries I recorded before they poisoned me, Eleanor said, her breathing growing shallow. "You must take it and run. If you try to wheel me out now, Clara will see it on the cameras and lock the gates. Go to the police. It's the only way." Suddenly, the landline phone on the bedside table rang, its loud chime cutting through the room like a gunshot. The caller ID flashed. Clara. Asterisk. My blood turned to ice. She knew. She had seen my reaction on the camera. "Answer it," Eleanor whispered fiercely, closing her eyes and instantly relaxing her body back into a rigid, comatose state. "Act natural." I picked up the receiver, forcing my voice to sound calm. "Hello, Claire, dear," Clara's voice purred through the line, cold and suspicious. "I was just checking the live feed. You looked startled. Is everything all right with Mother?" "Yes," I lied, gripping the flash drive tightly in my pocket. "Yes, Everything is fine. A spider crawled near the bed and it just jumped out at me. I'm just a little jumpy being alone in this big house. There was a long, agonizing pause on the other end. I could hear the faint sound of wind rushing through trees. She was already outside. She was coming. A spider. How unpleasant, Clara said softly. Don't worry, Claire, I forgot some paperwork, so I'm actually just walking up the driveway right now. I'll be inside in 30 seconds to help you kill it. The line went dead. I looked at Eleanor, whose eyes cracked open one last time, filled with a silent, pleading prayer. I nodded at her, slipped the flash drive deep into my pocket, and sprinted out of the bedroom, knowing that the fight for our lives had just begun.